Have you ever felt like you're stuck waiting for permission to live fully, whether it's permission to take up space, pursue a dream, or just feel good in your own skin? It's like we're all holding on to this invisible permission slip, just waiting for someone to sign it so we can finally start living. Well, let me tell you something. That permission slip, you don't need it. You never did. Today, we're going to talk about how to stop waiting for permission and start building something far more powerful: unconditional self-confidence. Stay tuned. Welcome to How to Lose the Weight, the podcast for women ready to stop waiting for someday and live life now. I'm your host, Holly Toscanini, and I'm here to help you break free from perfectionism, self-doubt, and the someday mindset. Together, we'll dive into real conversations about self-trust, empowerment, and living authentically. If you're ready to reconnect with your intuition and step into your power, you're in the right place. Let's lose the weight and start living fully right now. Hello, and welcome to How to Lose the Weight. I'm your host, Holly Toscanini. This episode is all about building self-confidence, not the kind that depends on external validation or hitting some goal society told you was important, but unconditional self-confidence. It's the foundation for reclaiming your life, for showing up as the person you've always wanted to be, no matter what the world around you might say. Now, if you're a woman in midlife, you've probably noticed that society loves to tell us to stay small, literally and figuratively. Shrink your body, shrink your voice, shrink your dreams. It's exhausting. But here's the thing. Midlife is the perfect time to say enough, to stop shrinking and start expanding, to live boldly with self-confidence that's rooted in who you are, not who the world says you should be. And today, we're going to lean into one of my core beliefs. Self-confidence starts with one simple yet radical idea: trusting yourself. I'll also share 3 actionable steps you can start taking today to strengthen that trust and build unshakable confidence. Now, these are practical, doable steps. No fluff, no hype, just tools that work. But before we get started, I've got a free gift for you. At the end of this episode, I'm going to tell you how to download my free ebook, Activate Your Intuition: 3 Steps to Reclaiming Inner Wisdom. Plus, if you download this book before December 25th, 2024, you're also going to gain access to 10 additional free gifts for a healthier, happier 2025. You see, my colleagues have put together our Nourish and Thrive in 2025 bundle, and it's packed with tools, tips, and inspiration from 10 of my favorite non-diet professionals and me who know that health is about so much more than numbers on a scale. Think of it as your roadmap to health, happiness, and confidence on your terms. Now, here's just some of what you're going to get. You're going to get practical guides to feel your best without rules or without food restriction. You're going to get strategies to improve your health and well-being at all stages of life without focusing on a number on the scale. And you're going to get tools to boost your confidence, befriend your body, and nurture your mindset, plus so much more. And the best part, it's totally free, but only for a limited time. See, all these freebies will be sent to you on December 26th, 2024, but only if you're on my email list. So grab your copy of Activate Your Intuition: 3 Steps to Reclaiming Inner Wisdom, and get ready for the new year and a fresh start. Let's make 2025 about feeling good, thriving, and ditching the rules that just don't work for you. Okay, now let's get started with a common misconception about self-confidence. Most of us have been conditioned to believe that confidence is tied to achieving some external ideal, having the perfect body, the perfect career, or the perfect life. But here's the truth. Perfection, it's a myth. And even if you do manage to check off every single box on society's list, there's always another box waiting to pop up. The standards keep moving, which means chasing, it's really a game you can never win. And it's not about being the most polished or achieving some magical ideal that somebody else has decided. If confidence relied on those things, none of us would ever feel it for long. And honestly, who wants to live like that constantly, trying to prove yourself, prove that you're enough to everybody? So let's get real about the lies we've been told about self-confidence. So Really, from the time we're young, the message is clear. Confidence comes when you achieve certain milestones, or more importantly, if you look a certain way. Lose weight and you'll feel confident. Land a high-powered job and you'll feel confident. Marry the right person, earn more money, get an advanced degree, the list goes on. But here's the problem with that way of thinking. It assumes that confidence is a result of external achievements, and that couldn't be further from the truth. I mean, think about it. How many times have you hit a goal and thought, now I'll feel confident, only to find that the job was fleeting, or the feeling was fleeting, and maybe that feeling never came at all? And that's because confidence doesn't come from the outside in. It's really an inside job. So if self-confidence isn't about, being a size 0, what is it? It's trusting yourself, even when society tells you that you're too much, not enough, or just plain wrong. It's a quiet, steady belief in your own worth, regardless of your size, your age, or circumstances in life. Because true self-confidence doesn't waver when your dress size changes or when you're in a room full of people who seem more successful or put together. It's rooted in the idea that you're already enough just as you are. And the more you trust yourself, trust your decisions, your instincts, your intuition, and your ability to handle life, the stronger that confidence grows. True self-confidence isn't about changing your appearance, education level, relationship status, or financial situation. It's about knowing deep down that you're already worthy, already enough, just as you are. Confidence is a belief in your own abilities and value, independent of what anybody else might think or what society says you should be. It's trusting yourself to navigate life, even when things feel uncertain or messy. It's about saying, I can handle whatever comes my way. Not just because you have all the answers, but because you trust yourself to know how to figure it out. Here's where the magic happens. Self-confidence is a skill. It's not some arbitrary trait you're born with. It's something you can learn, develop, and strengthen with practice, no matter where you're starting from. And here's the best part. You don't have to change a single thing about your appearance, your resume, your bank account, or your love life to start building it. It's so important for women, especially those of us in midlife and beyond, to understand that confidence is not reserved for a select few who seem to have their lives perfectly put together. It's something anybody can cultivate. And here's why this matters so much. First, confidence grows with action. It's like a muscle. You have to use it to strengthen it. And the more you practice trusting yourself, the easier it becomes. Small steps like speaking up in a meeting or setting a boundary build the foundation for bigger acts of self-trust. Next, society loves to tell us that confidence is tied to conditions. You'll feel confident when you lose 20 pounds, when you get promoted, when your bank account hits that super special 6-figure number, when somebody loves you. But tying confidence to external factors is like building a house in the sand. When the conditions shift, so does your confidence. So learning to trust yourself means your confidence becomes unshakable because it's no longer dependent on things you can't control. See, when confidence comes from within, you stop playing the comparison game. You no longer measure your worth against someone else's highlight reel. Instead, you trust that you're on your own path, and that's enough. Especially in midlife, when so much feels like it's changing, our bodies, our relationships, our careers, our confidence becomes the anchor that really can hold you steady. It's what helps you navigate menopause, career transitions, or empty nests without losing your sense of self. So, my friends, here is where the rubber meets the road. Building confidence does not require you to change who you are. You don't have to lose weight, go back to school, find a romantic partner, or have that 6 or 7-figure income. What you need is the willingness to shift your mindset and take small, intentional steps towards trusting yourself. Start with the belief that confidence is a skill you can learn. Every time you show up for yourself, whether it's saying no to something that drains you or taking a small risk, you're practicing confidence. Because confidence grows through action, not waiting. Each small act of bravery, like wearing the dress you've always felt self-conscious in or speaking your mind, is a brick in the foundation of your self-confidence. Plus, coaching and practice help tremendously. Working with someone who understands the process can accelerate your growth, helping you challenge self-doubt and build new belief systems as well as new habits. So here's the real gift of seeing self-confidence as a skill. It means you're in control. You don't have to wait for society's permissions or anybody else's approval. You can start building confidence right now, exactly as you are, and carry it with you wherever you go. When women understand this, it's liberating. They stop chasing perfection and start living fully. They stop waiting for the world to validate their worth and instead own it for themselves. And that's when the real transformation begins. Now, let's talk about why this matters so much for midlife women. Because if you're in this stage of life like I am, you've probably faced some unique challenges. Perimenopause and menopause, kids leaving the nest, shifting relationships, or maybe you're rethinking your career. Maybe you've started feeling a little invisible, or worse, irrelevant as you age. But here's the thing. These struggles aren't just roadblocks. They're also invitations. They are opportunities to rewrite your story and redefine what confidence means to you. Because midlife isn't the end of anything. It's a chance to become the most unapologetically confident version of yourself. You see, self-confidence starts with one simple radical idea: trusting yourself. I know it sounds straightforward, but for many women, especially those of us in midlife, self-trust feels almost impossible. Why? Because for decades, society has worked overtime to erode it. So I'm going to break down 4 specific ways this happens, how society erodes our self-trust. First, diet culture. For years, women have been told that their bodies are inherently wrong and need to be controlled, disciplined, and transformed. Diet culture teaches you to ignore your hunger cues, mistrust your cravings, and view your body as an enemy that needs to be subdued. And over time, this constant war with your body erodes the most basic form of self-trust, listening to and honoring your body's signals. For example, instead of eating when you're hungry, you wait for the clock to say it's time to eat. Instead of enjoying a slice of cake, you weigh it against points or calories and punish yourself for the indulgence. Each of these small betrayals chips away at your ability to trust yourself. Next, patriarchy. Patriarchy thrives on making women doubt their worth and their power. From a young age, women are taught to prioritize others' needs over their own, to be nice and accommodating, and to silence their instincts to avoid, rocking the boat. This conditioning leaves many women in midlife especially unsure of their voice, their instincts, and their desires. I mean, how many times have you felt something wasn't right, whether it's in a relationship, a job, or maybe a social situation, but you ignored that gut feeling to avoid conflict or to appear difficult? Each time you silence yourself to fit in or to keep the peace, you weaken your trust in your own intuition. And then there's ageism. As women age, society's message becomes crystal clear. Your value is tied to your youth, your beauty, and your reproductive capacity. Once you hit midlife, the world starts to treat you as invisible, irrelevant, or past your prime. This pervasive ageism not only affects how others see you, but how you see yourself. It's really hard to trust your worth when society keeps telling you it's expired. You might find yourself hesitating to take up new opportunities or pursue a passion because you've internalized the idea that you're too old to start something new. And finally, perfectionism. Perfectionism is the belief that your worth is tied to doing absolutely everything flawlessly, whether it's your career, parenting, appearance, or relationships. Perfectionism creates a constant fear of failure and leaves no room for mistakes, both of which are crucial for learning and growth. When you believe you must get it right every single time, you stop taking risks. And over time, you start doubting your ability to handle challenges, and that undermines your self-trust. You see, reclaiming self-trust isn't just a personal decision. It's an act of rebellion against a society that profits from your self-doubt. When you trust yourself, you stop seeking external validation because trusting yourself means you no longer need permission or approval to feel worthy. You validate your own feelings, decisions, and choices. And You begin to listen to your intuition, that inner voice, the one that you've been taught to suppress. It's really your most powerful guide. Trusting yourself means tuning into it and acting on what feels right for you, not what others expect. And really, when you trust yourself, you allow yourself to break free from limiting beliefs, and you question the societal rules that have held you back, whether they're about your body, your ability, or your age. In a world that constantly tells women to shrink, second guess, and strive for perfection, trusting yourself is a radical act of defiance. It says to the world, I know who I am, I know my worth, and I refuse to let anyone define it for me. Now, I have a good story of my own kind of story of learning to trust myself. See, when I was in my 20s, I was living in a small town where everybody seemed to know everyone and every detail of their lives. And it was comfortable, predictable, and quite honestly, a little suffocating. Deep down, I felt this pull, this nudge that wouldn't go away, whispering, there's something bigger out there for you. And here's the secret. I didn't have a plan. I didn't have a single connection, but I had this undeniable feeling that San Francisco was where I was supposed to be. I couldn't explain it. And I'm sure plenty of people thought I was a little out of my mind, but something in my gut said go. So I trusted it. I packed up everything I owned, which really wasn't that much, and I headed to a city I'd only seen in pictures and movies. I managed to transfer from this little restaurant I was working at to one close to San Francisco, but I didn't have any friends waiting to greet me and no roadmap for how to make it work. I just knew I had to try. Now, once I arrived, things started falling into place. I met some new people, I transferred to a college in the city, and managed to secure a little place to call home. Now, it wasn't glamorous by any means, but it was mine. And as I explored the beach and the fog and the eclectic neighborhoods and the heartbeat of this vibrant city, I felt something I'd never felt before. I felt I was exactly where I was meant to be. Now, that one decision to trust my gut and take a leap into the unknown changed everything. It wasn't always easy, but I never looked back. And San Francisco became more than just a city to me. It became my home. And now, nearly 30 years later, I can say with absolute certainty that trusting myself back then was the best decision I've ever made. That experience taught me something powerful. Even when you don't have all the answers, even when the path feels uncertain, trusting yourself can lead you exactly where you need to go. That's what self-trust looks like in action, and it's the foundation for every confident step I've taken since. You see, trusting yourself is just the first step to unconditional confidence. It creates a strong foundation because confidence isn't built on a perfect body, flawless achievements, or a spotless track record. It's built on the belief that no matter what happens, you can handle it. Self-trust gives you that belief. If you trust yourself, you'll take on new challenges, not just because you're certain of success, but because you know you can figure things out along the way. It also builds resilience because life is unpredictable, and confidence that depends on external factors can crumble when things go wrong. But when you trust yourself, you become resilient. You know that even if you fail, you'll get back up. So instead of avoiding risks for fear of failure, you'll embrace them as opportunities to learn and grow. And self-doubt thrives in the absence of self-trust. When you trust yourself, you stop second-guessing your decisions and start standing by them. You're no longer paralyzed by the fear of making the wrong choice because you trust that you can adapt and recover if needed. So instead of endlessly debating whether to pursue a new job, move to a new city, or try dating again, you take the leap and you trust yourself to handle whatever comes next. So if self-trust feels foreign to you, just start small. Here are a few steps to practice. First, it's important to listen to your body. Pay attention to its cues, hunger, fatigue, joy, or discomfort, and honor them. Each time you do, you rebuild that trust in yourself. Next, make and keep small promises to yourself. Start with something simple like, drinking more water or setting aside 5 minutes for just yourself each day, whether it's for journaling or meditation or just sitting quietly. And then follow through on those small promises because that's also going to strengthen self-trust. And next, you got to reflect on your wins. Remind yourself of the times when you trusted your gut and it paid off. Let those moments be proof that you can trust yourself again. You see, rebuilding self-trust takes time, especially after years of being told to doubt yourself. But every small step you take, every time you listen to your body, honor your feelings, or follow your intuition, it's a step toward the unshakable confidence you've been searching for. Trusting yourself isn't just the foundation of confidence, it's the gateway to living fully and unapologetically. And that's a life worth living. All right, now I promised you some action steps, so get ready to take some notes or maybe bookmark this part of the podcast and come back to it later, because I'm about to give you 3 key action steps to build unconditional self-confidence. All right, action step 1, rewrite the rules. Why this matters? Well, because many of the limits we place on ourselves come from unspoken rules we've absorbed over the years. Rules about what we should look like, what we should weigh, how we should behave, or what we need to have or achieve to feel worthy. And these rules didn't come from us. They came from diet culture, patriarchy, and a society obsessed with youth and perfection. And the first step to radical self-confidence is identifying these rules and replacing them with empowering beliefs that align with who we are today. So you could start by asking yourself, what rules have I been living by? Now, these might sound like, I can't wear a swimsuit unless I lose weight, or I shouldn't speak up because I might sound stupid. Once you identify a rule, challenge it. Where did this belief come from? Is it even true? And is it serving me? And then rewrite it. Replace that limiting rule with a belief that affirms your worth and empowers you to live authentically. Now, you can take out a piece of paper and write down one limiting rule that's been holding you back. Take just a moment and do that. Now, look at it and rewrite it as a positive, empowering statement. For example, here might be an old rule. I can't wear prints or bold colors because I'm not thin enough. The new belief could be, I deserve to wear whatever makes me feel radiant, no matter what my size. Or your old rule might be, I'll feel confident or more comfortable in my body when I lose 20 pounds. Your new belief could be, my confidence doesn't depend on my weight. It comes from within, from who I am, not what I look like. Or your old rule could be, I can't start that project until I've perfected my skills or perfected all the pieces that go into it. Your new belief could be, I can start where I am and learn as I go. Now, why does this work? Because rewriting the rules shifts your mindset from one of scarcity and fear to one of abundance and possibility. It reminds you that you are in charge of your own narrative. Pretty cool, right? Okay, action step number 2. Practice micro-bravery. Okay, confidence doesn't happen overnight, but it's built through small, consistent acts of courage. These moments, what I call micro-bravery, push you just slightly outside your comfort zone, helping you to trust your ability to handle challenges. So each day, take one small action that feels brave to you. It doesn't have to be earth-shattering. What matters is that it stretches you just enough to build some confidence and trust in yourself. So maybe post a picture of yourself without filters, even if it feels vulnerable, or speak up in a meeting or share your opinion when you're normally silent, or say no to a request that just doesn't align with your values, or if it just simply drains your energy. Or you could wear something you've always wanted to but were afraid to try, like that bold lipstick or the statement necklace in the back of your drawer. Every time you take a brave step, you prove to yourself that you can handle discomfort. That's why this works, because over time, these micro movements build into a foundation of self-trust and resilience. Action step number 3, build your confidence rituals. Now, this is important because confidence isn't a one-time achievement. It's an ongoing practice. And creating rituals that reinforce your self-trust help anchor you, even during life's chaos. See, rituals are simple, repeatable actions that remind you of your worth and keep you connected to your inner power. So, design daily or maybe weekly rituals that align with your lifestyle and your values. Now, these should feel supportive, not overwhelming, so keep them small. So maybe you could start with a morning affirmation. Start your day by speaking affirmations that boost your confidence, like, I trust myself to make the right decisions for my life today, or I am enough exactly as I am? Or what about, I choose to show up as my most authentic and vibrant self today? Or maybe your thing is journaling. I love a good journal. So maybe take 5 minutes to reflect on one way you showed up confidently during the day. This could be as simple as saying no to something you didn't want to do, or just making a little time for yourself. Or maybe choose a form of movement that celebrates your body's abilities rather than punishes it. Whether it's a dance session in your living room, a walk in the fresh air, a little yoga, let your movement reconnect you with your body. Or finally, maybe try evening gratitude. End your day by writing down 1 to 3 things that you're proud of or grateful for. This creates a sense of accomplishment and a little positivity to carry into the next day. You could set a reminder or tie these rituals to something you do daily already, like your morning coffee or bedtime routine. This makes it easier to stay consistent. Now, this works because rituals are grounding. They remind you to pause and check in with yourself, reinforcing your self-trust and confidence in small but meaningful ways. You see, building unconditional self-confidence isn't about making one massive leap. It's about taking small, intentional steps every day. By rewriting the rules, practicing micro-bravery, and creating rituals that honor your worth, you're building a foundation for confidence that doesn't rely on anyone else's approval. These steps aren't just actions, they're declarations. Declarations that you are enough, that you are capable, and that you are all ready to live fully and unapologetically. All right, so let's just take a minute and reflect on some of what we've covered today. Building unconditional self-confidence isn't about striving for perfection. It's about learning to trust yourself, even when the world around you tries to tell you otherwise. And you don't need society's permission to feel worthy or to take up space. You're already enough, exactly as you are. The key is to take small but meaningful steps that reinforce your self-trust and self-confidence every day. Start by rewriting the unspoken rules that have held you back, practicing micro-bravery to stretch outside your comfort zone, and creating rituals that ground you in your worth. Here's the truth. You've waited long enough for the world to tell you you're enough. Now's the time to tell yourself, because you are. Now, before we wrap up, I want to remind you to download your free copy of my ebook, Activate Your Intuition, 3 Steps to Reclaiming Inner Wisdom. It's available on my website, and it's the perfect companion to help you continue building that trust in yourself. Plus, if you download this ebook before December 25th, or by December 25th, you'll get on my email list and get access to 10 additional fantastic non-diet professionals who are offering up some great resources for the new year. Now, you can find all of this information in the show notes at the end of the podcast. And if this episode resonated with you, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and leave a review, and share it with a friend. Every like and subscription and every review helps this message reach more women who are ready to stop waiting and start living fully. Together, we can change the conversation around confidence and self-worth. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you're feeling inspired to take those first steps towards building radical self-confidence, one small action at a time. Now, next time, we're going to dive into a truly transformational topic, living without the weight, how to fully step into your power. This episode is about shedding the emotional and physical weight that's been holding you back, whether that weight is self-doubt, fear, or nagging limiting beliefs you've been carrying for far too long. This isn't just another episode. It's really cornerstone content for everything How to Lose the Weight stands for. My personal philosophy, this podcast, and my coaching programs I offer. It's about helping you embrace the freedom to live boldly and unapologetically, to reclaim your power, and to step fully into the life you've always wanted. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. So until next time, remember, you don't have to wait for anyone to tell you you're worthy. You already are. Have a fantastic week, an amazing holiday season, and I'll see you next time at How to Lose the Weight. Bye for now. Thank you for tuning in to How to Lose the Weight. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe so you never miss a conversation. And if you found value in this episode, I'd love it if you could leave a review. It really helps the show reach more women like you who are ready to step into their power. For more insights and inspiration, follow me on Instagram at Holly Toscanini or visit hollytoscanini.com. Until next time, remember, stop waiting and start living.